What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to do something that I know a lot of you guys are going to be interested in, because a lot of you guys are interested in drifting. So what we're going to do today is I am going to show you how to properly weld your differential. Now there's a ton of things you need to take into consideration before you go ahead and you do this yourself. If you're taking it to someone who's done it before, then you don't need to worry about these things. But if you are going to weld this differential yourself, there are some tips and tricks that you need to know about welding a differential, and why you're doing it, why you need to do it a certain way, and why it's important to make sure that all of these steps are followed properly so that you have good longevity and reliability out of your welded diff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take you guys in and show you. This is a differential, I believe, out of an FC RX-7 or a Miata, either or. I think they're both the same. And we are going to weld this one solid so that we can give it back to our customer and he can enjoy some fun drifting in his FC. So I'll bring you in, I'll show you what the diff is made of, we'll show you how it functions, and then we'll show you how to weld it. Alright, so your standard open differential is made up of basically 5 different components. You have your carrier, which is what your ring gear bolts to. You have one side gear on the left, a side gear on the right, and 2 spider gears, sometimes 4 spider gears, and then a cross pin. So there's actually 6 pieces in this one. Basically, the way that this works is you have an axle shaft coming in from this side, you have an axle shaft coming in from this side, and as each axle shaft spins, you will see that the other axle shaft will spin in the opposite direction. Now, if you don't know how a differential works, which I'm sure you probably do, so I'm not going to go into a ton of depth of explaining this, but one wheel is allowed to spin faster than the other wheel, so for cornering or, you know, any type of tight maneuvers, you'll be able to do that no problem. Now, when we weld this solid, both the inner and outer wheel will be moving at the exact same speed. Therefore, that's why on most drift cars, when they turn a corner, you hear the tires, you know, chirping and slipping and skipping and all that other stuff, is because both wheels are trying to move at the same speed, whereas the inside wheel on this corner is going to move slower than the outside wheel. So you'll get a lot of, you know, noise from the inside wheel as it chirps on the ground because the diff is welded. So now what we need to do today in order to weld this diff, let's get a little bit better light on this situation here, is we basically need to stop that action from happening. Now there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this. You can literally just weld in each corner on the 4 sides, flip this whole thing over, do the other side exactly the same. Or you can install a locking device in here which removes all of this. You remove the cross pin, you remove the 2 spiders, you remove the 2 side gears, and you install a locker inside of this differential that will allow you to still retain your turning ability, but under power it will lock up and lock the 2 wheels together. Those can get expensive and can be relatively difficult to install if you don't know what you're doing. So in this case, what we're going to do is we are actually going to use the third method, which is welding all 4 corners, and then we're going to take these little plates right here and drop them right in, just like that, and then we're going to weld those in place. Now, a lot of guys will tell you you don't need those plates in there, and they'd be pretty much right, but you want this to be strong, especially if you've got a high-powered vehicle and you're running big tires in the rear. You're gonna want this setup to be strong. So what I like to do is I weld all 4 corners, then we weld these plates in, and therefore the side gears are tied together with the plate, the spiders are tied together with the plate, and then each gear is welded to each gear, and you don't have to worry about anything. So what I'm going to do now is we've already gone ahead and taken the liberty of cleaning this up the best we can. We're brake clean. Unfortunately, we're still going to have a little bit of crap going on, but we are now going to take and heat this up with the torch just to get it nice and toasty warm so that our welds will penetrate better. The welder we're going to be using is actually the Miller 211. Does 211 amps. We are going to crank this thing to its max and get as much penetration into those gears as we possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead off screen and heat this because it's boring watching people heat things up. Once I get this nice and hot, I'm going to come back and throw some welds on it. All right guys, so we've gone ahead and tacked in our plates and we are going to finish weld those in a minute, but I wanted to bring you guys in and show you a very, very, very important point when welding these things, especially if you don't have axle stubs on hand or you don't have axles on hand. Now, inside these differentials, where the axle slides in right there, you can see the splined area, and you can also see the cross pin. Now, most axle shafts actually run all the way up to that cross pin, and so they need to be able to basically slide freely through that splined area all the way up to the cross pin. So what you need to make sure of is that your plates that you just put in do not reside below that splined area, because otherwise your axles are not going to go all the way in. So if you don't have axle shafts on hand, just make sure that you put something in the ends over here to raise these plates up above where the axle shaft goes through, so that the axle shaft can still go in and actually bottom out against that center pin. All right, guys, so there it is. Don't be afraid to get down in there and really lay some metal in, really lay the heat into it, because you're dealing with a lot of mass and you need to get this really hot. Now, we preheated it beforehand and then really blasted it with full bore 211 amp MIG. You see the plates are nicely tucked in there. All of the gears are welded together. Same thing goes for the other side. See if we can just, yeah, that's a little warm. All right, there's the other side. You can tell this thing's pretty hot still. So it's looking good. Everything is golden. We're not encroaching on our axle tubes or our splined areas at all. Both sides look good. So we're golden there. Now, the one other thing and the last tip and trick I have for you when it comes to doing these things, take the ring gear off. And the reason I say take the ring gear off is because this produces a ton of slag. And if you can kind of see down in there, there's little tiny BBs that get formed that you have to clean out of here before you actually run this. But at the same point in time, those little BBs will get all over the ring gear and they will stick to it. You won't be able to get them off. And then ultimately you'll destroy your ring and pinion, and then you'll have to do this all over again. So remove the pinion, or I'm sorry, remove the ring gear, get that off of there, and you'll be golden. Excuse me. All right, so you guys can see we're still a little smoky here. This thing's super duper hot. So what we're gonna do, what I like to do with these things, just so they don't cool down too fast and crack and whatnot, I take my welding gloves and I just kind of throw them over top of it. Keeps the heat in a little bit, lets it cool a little bit more uniformly. I used to have a fiberglass blanket, but I don't know what happened with it. But it's kind of important that cast iron cools down very slowly. You do not want to cool this down with water and shock it. You'll crack the welds, you'll crack the cast iron. It'll be a mess, so just don't do it. But the reason I made this video is because I see a lot of people welding differentials on YouTube and just in general. And when you weld a differential, there's a massive amount of mass, literally. No pun intended, but there's a ton of mass within that differential. You need to get that sucker hot. You need to get it really hot for everything to actually burn in and seat properly. If you don't do that, you're going to end up with chunks of the weld breaking off in your differential. Worst case scenario, it breaks apart completely and you get gigantic chunks of metal throughout the diff. You're going to ruin a ring and pinion. And I know some of you guys are going to say, yeah, but diffs are available, you can get them, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's fine, but do you really want to be replacing this, or do you want to put it in the car and have it perform flawlessly for the rest of your life? The only thing you're going to break with this differential is axles. You're never going to break a piece of the weld off. You're never going to break anything. We heated this thing up to about 350 degrees or so. Then we hit it with full bore 211 amps of weld. We plated it. We made sure that our axle splines are clear so that our axles can bottom out against the center pin. This thing's never coming apart. So just a recap. Weld in the plates, heat it up nice, clean it nice, weld it at as high an amperage as possible. 130 amps is not going to cut it. So if you have a 110 volt MIG, it's not going to cut it, guys. It's going to come apart eventually. You might get lucky and you might have no issue with it, but I can guarantee you, you put some power behind it and some big tires on the back, and your diff's coming apart, because there's no way that a 110 volt welder can burn into this stuff. It's just not enough amperage. I mean, I was at 211 amps, and you guys saw how long I was spending in that area, and that was just to be able to get penetration into those gears because they are so massive. So at the end of everything, make sure you got no slag. Make sure you remove the ring gear before you even start this process so that you don't have to contend with grinding welding slag off of that. Let the diff cool down naturally. Do not cool it fast with water or oil or anything else. You'll cause all kinds of problems. Try to be conscious of your bearings if they're still on it. Try to be conscious of anything else that you can see in this, and you'll have a diff that will last you forever. All right, I'm done preaching. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you enjoyed the little clips of welding. I'll try to zoom in a little bit on it, but I didn't want to get the GoPro too close because there's a lot of slag coming off of a MIG, and I don't want to ruin another GoPro lens. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Click that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.
Come on.